Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk take the roll, please?
Mayor Bro?
Here.
District 1 Morstead?
Here.
2 O'Connell?
Here.
3 Rademacher?
Here.
4 Wyland?
Here.
5 O'Malley?
Here.
6 Cook? Here.
At this point in our agenda, we take comments and suggestions from citizens present. Is there anybody that would like to address the council on any item not on the agenda? Anyone? Once more. Okay. Let's go to the consent, and Madam Clerk will verbalize the items for us.
To approve the public hearing and regular meeting minutes of April 4th, 2007, and the special meeting minutes of April 9th, 2007. To approve claims for payment in the amount of $642,339.94. A detailed description is available in the clerk's office for inspection. To approve the issuance of regular operators licenses for the period April 17th, 2007 through June 30th, 2008 to 2 individuals, and 2 temporary operators licenses to be used April 26th, 2007 through April 29th, 2007 at the annual pool tournament sponsored by the Hudson Hockey Association. All applicant information is available in the clerk's office on request. To approve the issuance of a 6-month Class B beer license to the Hudson Softball Association to be used May 1st, 2007 through October 31st, 2007 at the Concession Building in Grandview Park, 1100 Carmichael Road. To place on file the Finance Officer's report. To approve the request of the St. Patrick's School to barricade 4th Street between River Street and St. Croix Street for the school's annual send-off party on June 1st, 2007 from 3:45 p.m. to 9 p.m. To place on file the quarterly reports of the building inspector and the fire chief and the Public Utilities Commission minutes of April 10th, 2007. That is all.
What is your pleasure on the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Second? Roll call vote.
Morstead?
Yes.
O'Malley?
Yes.
Wyland?
Yes.
Cook? Yes. Rademacher?
Yes.
O'Connell?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Let's go to Plan Commission. Consider site for the May 1st public open house downtown planning proposal. Denny?
On your table, I placed just some information there. The Phipps, the River Room at the Phipps Center is available on May 1st. Also, Jan from Administrative Office suggested maybe we consider the community room at the municipal building. Both are available on Tuesday, May 1st. There would be a cost for the River Room of $99, which is a relatively nominal cost for this type of meeting. Other things that we should give consideration to is the format, where you want to have more like a public hearing, where there might be a brief presentation and public make comment, or where you want to have an open house, similar to what we did at the marina earlier in December of this past year, and then have a presentation, maybe some comments by citizens.
We discussed this a little bit in finance. I think the consensus was that maybe we should have it at the Phipps because it's closer to downtown, better capacity, better facilities. And I'd like to see us have an agenda, make the presentation, and get comments on basically the position that both the Planning Commission and the Council will be taking, and then hear comments after that.
Fine.
I agree.
Agree, Council?
Yeah, should we set 7 o'clock as the start time for that?
I think that'd be good, huh?
Be fine.
Denny?
I can set that up.
You can handle
We'll put a note. We won't be able to put a notice in the paper. It won't be a formal public hearing, but we'll put something in the paper for next week. And
Can the chamber help us in getting something out, or don't we have enough time?
Yeah, we can. Well, we can do that, and perhaps for businesses downtown, or we also can try to deliver hand to hand or door to door. Excuse me.
Okay.
Some notices.
Need a motion to that effect.
So moved.
For a second?
Second.
Any further discussion or comments?
We probably could do the chamber website, city website, those type of things too.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Let's go to Finance Committee. Consider authorizing the budget amendment, which requires a 2/3 vote, right, Council?
Yes.
On the Public Works equipment purchases, and Scott, you did vocalize those in finance. Could you do the same here?
Sure, actually, I want to call on Dan Ortner of our Public Works Department. Dan, if you would come up to the podium here. Dan is the person who actually works on the equipment, so he, needless to say, has hands-on experience and can explain how we would like to change a little bit the funds that we're using, or the purpose of the funds that were allocated for 2007. We have $212,000 allocated for equipment for Public Works for this year, and Dan's going to explain what he would like to do with that money.
The recommendation from finance was to,
Go with Dan's suggestion.
okay.
And Dan, we're talking essentially, right now, we're talking two different pieces of equipment. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
But total dollars to,
$203,206, so a savings of almost $9,000.
okay, go ahead, Dan, sorry.
At the Public Works Department, we would like to see a new front-end loader purchased. Instead of a dump truck that was on the agenda to be purchased, our loader that we have now, we have two of them. One's a 1990, the other one is a 1992. And the 1990 has roughly 7,000 hours on it. In the past 2 years, I have stuck $14,000 into this old machine. And it's time we put it to rest, and we can get some good money out of it. They'll give us a $28,000 on trade-in for it because of the money we stuck into it. And our biggest complaint with the snow plowing is the cul-de-sacs. We have like 80-some cul-de-sacs, and we have two loaders that do them. And in the proposal, we'd like to get a plow and wing set up for the new loader and another plow and wing set up for our current loader, one of our older ones, so we can get our cul-de-sacs plowed on a timely manner.
Very good. Any questions, Dan?
Well, I thought we talked about in the finance committee that we were going to add the hydraulics and the hydraulic thumb. I know there was a little extra expense.
If we could find the money.
That goes with the backhoe, not with the loader.
Oh, for the backhoe, yeah, I'm sorry.
The backhoe was
That-
included in our overall,
Right, but the coupler that Paul is referring to
You're right.
goes with the backhoe, which is the next agenda item.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh,
And maybe we could, if it's okay with the mayor, we'll go right into that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's talk about the backhoe.
Our backhoe that we currently have is a 1987. It's been a good machine, I'm sure, for the years it's been there. But a new machine with the hydraulic thumb attachment would save us a good share of time when we're out in the street, cutting storm sewers. And with the thumb, we can physically grab a curb and pick it up and put it and set it in the back of one of our trucks instead of breaking it up with a hammer. And we can grab brush with it, we can grab a tree with it. The backhoe makes a lot of sense. It's a time-saving thing that would majorly help us out.
Any questions? Finance did recommend we approach it in this fashion.
Let me go over the figures once again then, if I may,
Yes.
because this does add a little bit more, but it keeps us still within budget. We will have some trade-ins, as Dan mentioned, some trade-in value on our current equipment of $45,900 totally. We are proposing now purchases of $249,105, but minus the trade-ins, we're back to the 203, 206. The attachment, the hydraulic attachment, which we should purchase when we purchase this piece of equipment, because it'll cost 3 times as much to attach it in the field later on,
Right.
will add $6,400 to the cost. Combined with the 203, we are now at 209 and some change. We're still under the $212,000. And unless, Dan, if you have anything further you'd like to add on those two pieces,
No, that's all on.
then I will make a motion that we approve the expenditure of these two budget items.
As so noted.
Yes, as so noted.
Is there a second?
second.
I just want to compliment Tom Zulli and Dan for coming forth and giving us the information and the meetings necessary to come to this conclusion. I think they stepped forward in Jim's absence and have done a fantastic job, and I just wanted to note that for everybody. Now, we need 2/3 vote on this.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Now, I would like to test your patience just a moment longer, because Dan has a couple, Dan, I'm sorry, can you come back up? I didn't see you leaving. We'd like to discuss with you briefly another couple of pieces of equipment that are not expensive, but we need your okay to have Dan and Tom and the mayor and myself work with Betty Caruso of our finance department to work on funding these two These two items. Dan, would you go into those two, please?
There's actually just one item left. The hydraulic thumb was the extra item that
Oh,
would go with the
okay.
backhoe.
we included that.
No, the hydraulic thumb is included. Now we're going to talk about the,
Oh, an
right, the
asphalt
double
roller.
roller.
The asphalt roller,
Yep.
double roller, or
Yep.
whatever you call it.
We'd like to get a double roller for doing the bigger patches for the asphalt. Currently, we have a, like Tom says, it came from the Mayflower, and it's
I
an
think
old
he's using
machine.
an iron, isn't he?
Yeah. And it would just help us do the bigger patches. A perfect example is on Vine Street last year. We had Monarch come in and do that patch where the water was broke there, and this roller would allow us to do them patches
Do that.
ourselves. We can do
Great.
them in-house.
And this costs approximately $5,000, is that
Yep,
right?
yep, we can buy a new one for 12, and we can find a used one for 5 or 6.
And how much did Monarch cost to come in and do that one patch?
That is, a question I couldn't, if Jim was here, he could, but we could probably find that for you.
I bet it was done.
Yeah.
But it was $2,000. But anyway, you want to make a motion to that effect?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we authorize Betty and Dan and Tom to work together on funding this approximately $6,000 item.
Is that out of the public works budget then?
Yes, because we believe, we're about to talk about mill and overlay, and we believe we will save enough there for it.
To pay for that.
But we need to authorize them to discuss switching that money over.
I'll make a motion that we.
I made the motion, I need the
I'll
second.
Second. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thanks.
Motion's carried. Thanks, Dan. Let's go to 6, consider appraisal for Prospect Park property, and Paul, you want to give us the,
Yeah, a requirement of the DNR grant application for the new Prospect Park property is that we provide a appraisal of the land. We were given an appraisal from the previous owner, but it wasn't sufficient, and we need to supply one. The estimated cost is between $700 and $1,000, and at Finance Committee, we recommend we take the money out of the Parks North Trust Fund A impact fee fund to pay for the cost.
So
I'll
move.
make a motion to,
I'll second.
okay, discussion or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Let's go to Public Works Committee. We already took care of that purchase of the front-end loader, right?
And the boom truck.
And the boom truck. Let's go to 3. Review plans and specs and consider advertising for bids for 2007 mill and overlay project.
I'm going to ask Tom Zulli to come up to the podium if he would. We have $160,000 in the 2007 capital budget for mill and overlay work. We also have $75,000 for curb and gutter. It's noted on your list as sidewalks. Our plan is to do both of those together rather than tear up streets twice. Let's just do the job at the right time, just once. Tom, if you would just discuss how we plan to do this, and do you have the list of streets in front of you, or do you remember them, or should I read them off, or?
I do remember them, but I
Okay.
do have them also.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This year, there was $160,000 budgeted for this mill and overlay project. Every 2 years, we go by, we do a road survey. It's a Pazer road survey, and it's every street's rated like 1 through 10. So this year, we tried to really work on the 3s. So we went through and determined some of the roads that were rated 3 with a lot of traffic, or a lot of traffic on them. So we went with 11th Street from Vine to St. Croix, 8th Street from Vine to St. Croix, Webster Street from Industrial to O'Keefe, Commercial Street from 1st to 2nd, and another street that was actually, we rated at 5, but over the course of the winter, up on top on that one curve, it just really fell apart. And we feel that with the traffic going up 3rd Street Hill, that we should probably address that road this year.
Great.
After taking all the measurements and meeting with one of the asphalt people, his rough estimate came up with 149,000. That's just a rough estimate. We haven't even put it out for bid yet.
Yeah.
So What we have done the last few years is, when we do a mill and overlay project, we try to incorporate the curb and gutter replacement with that. So I'll measure the curb and gutter that's really bad in those areas, that streets that we're gonna mill and overlay, and we'll try to get those repaired first, and then we have a pretty decent project.
Great. Questions, anyone? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just going to move that we proceed with advertising for bids for the 2007 mill and overlay project.
The only question is on Webster, there is some construction going on up there. This probably won't take place until middle of summer, but I didn't know if we want to wait to do that one until later on in the year, until they're done up there, so it doesn't get all chewed up, if you know what I mean.
Well, I think
Exactly.
that's 2 Websters, isn't it? We're doing Third Street?
No, Webster between Industrial and O'Keefe.
Oh, okay.
Is that where that new,
Yeah, you're right.
Propulsion?
Propulsion?
Actually, that curb and gutter's been all replaced and the apron's already done.
Oh, okay.
Good. Great. We had a motion
And a second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. Let's go to 5, review bids and consider awarding contract for 2007 spring and fall leaf collection. You're okay with that, or did you?
We did, in Public Works, discuss this, and we do recommend that we go with the proposal from River City Disposal, who has done this for us every year. This year, we are experiencing a 3% increase in cost, but that is right in line with the increase of 3% that we charge for our own time and equipment. We move that we accept the bid from River City Disposal of $172.50 per 30-yard box and $157.50 per yard tipping fee. The dates will commence Saturday, April 21st, April 28th, the following Saturday, and then the third Saturday of May 5th. All the Saturdays, the West End Garage for bringing your leaf bags to is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that we do mean leaf bags. No tree limbs, please, no shrubbery. If you've got leftover pumpkins from last October, heaven help you, but if you've got them, don't give them to us. And for those people who can't make it on the Saturdays, it will be open 3 days a week for the intervening 2 week periods. That is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of each week between those 3 Saturdays from noon to 7 p.m. So if you can't make it on Saturday, perhaps you could do it after work. As always, and this has been going on for over a decade now, those who live in the 5th District who cannot get their materials to the drop-off point, call me, and the posse will come out and we will pick them up and dispose of them for you. I recommend we accept the bid of River City Disposal and authorize Public Works to mail out the postcards, which we do each time, place notices in the paper of the dates the site will be open, and people can drop off their bag leaves.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion, comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you for taking care of that. Let's go to public safety. Consider purchase of crossing flags for Vine Street and Grandview Drive pedestrian crossing.
Yes.
Got that?
Marty, you want to give a demonstration of the flag there? Since you're sitting next to it?
Tom's making them up.
Come to the podium and open that up for everybody. This is the flag that is used at Bayport. They cost $15.25 each with the dowel, and we recommend from the Public Safety Committee to buy 20 of these with the 2 canisters and a couple signs. They'll be needed. Rough estimate cost is $400. The money come out of the contingency fund, as I believe is where that,
Or any other place we can find it?
or any other place we can find it. So I'll make a motion as such.
Okay.
This is for Vine and Diamond Street intersection.
We got a second, and Tom, we're gonna take care of the stop sign and all the markings when? So,
Actually, we have everything we need to complete the project. We're just waiting for a little warm weather, which I think we're gonna get this week, so.
does today qualify?
We're thinking like next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Good, because I'm getting a lot of complaints on that thing.
But
Yeah.
Good.
all those suggestions from safety will be done at once.
Sure, all at once, right.
Canisters are already secured.
Here,
They're already on the poles, so. double
Okay.
poles.
great.
Just a question, how come it has the AAA symbol on it? Are we buying them from AAA? or-
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They're cheaper that way.
cheaper that way.
Okay, good idea.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Let's go to 3, consider drafting possible changes to municipal code regarding dumpsters on public property.
I do have copies of the email and definition that we talked about, if you want me to pass those out. Catherine gave me copies of it.
Well, I think it was attached to the,
That was also attached?
yeah.
Well, give the
Go ahead.
council the
Right.
summary and also the TV audience.
The summary is that we want to add, the Public Safety Committee is recommending to add a paragraph to the dumpster policy to allow for long-term placement of dumpsters on public property. This won't come up too often, but we do have an issue with it now and a need to, feel like there's a need to clarify that. And we recommend the number 4 that Catherine had submitted to us with some changes. It's an email that Catherine sent to Lee. You see that there? Okay.
Can we vocalize that for the
Yep.
TV audience?
It says that the city may allow longer-term placement of dumpsters on city property where it can be done without compromising public health, safety, and welfare. Such placement shall be governed by contract between the city and the private property owner. Said contract shall address items such as liability insurance, safety considerations regarding placement of the dumpster, compensation to the city, and any other provisions that are necessary to address the circumstances of the situation. The police department shall review the proposed location and make any necessary recommendations regarding safety considerations.
Very good.
Now, this came about because of the restaurant, right?
Right.
San Pedro dumpster.
Next to the safety
Yeah.
building.
But there are 3 others that are in need of this right now.
Correct.
And there was one addition to that, that we talked about, and having that, suggestion in here that the fee is gonna be based, or, comes out of the Public Works, Public Works fee schedule. So we can go back to that. So here it says refer to the Public Works fee schedule for, the actual monthly fees.
Is that in there?
It's not in this statement, but we talked about adding it.
Well, what's gonna
But
happen
it-
is I'll put this in an ordinance.
Okay.
And it'll be on the next agenda as an
Okay.
ordinance and go through the ordinance.
We'll have the
process.
specifics in there.
Yep.
So I'm moving to have Catherine advise, or revise the ordinance as written and with the suggestion.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Review quotes and consider the purchase of 2 permanent speed signs for Mine Street. Sergeant Marty.
Yeah, we asked Marty to pick some quotes for the speed signs, and he will give a little presentation as such.
Well, you should all have in your packets the quotes that I have from the 3 different vendors that I got quotes from, along with specifications and so forth. The only company that came out with a 2-year warranty obviously was Custom Signals. And obviously they're are right around the same ballpark at around $3,000. More expensive one obviously was 3M. Theirs being at $5,000, but obviously that would be a high-end sign if that's what the council decides to go with. The mayor had asked me at one time to check on what it would cost to keep the current sign that's in place now. I talked to Greg from 3M, and he said that they would sell it to us for half the price of a conventional sign with a solar panel, but we also had to purchase a brand-new sign. So it was contingency. So when I asked him how much half of a solar sign was, he said it was $4,000.
Easy decision, right?
Right. It wasn't that difficult to make. So
What's the recommendation?
I didn't have any recommendations. I'm not sure exactly what the council is looking for in regards to costs or anything along those lines.
Well, in your opinion,
In my
the
opinion,
ones from Customs meet all of our,
they do meet all our specifications.
Requirements,
We use
okay.
custom signal radar units in our squad cars. They work very well. I have not seen any of their signs per se on roadways anywhere. I have seen 3M. But from what I understand, just looking at what I have from Customs in the past, they have our speed trailer. Our speed trailer sign is very well.
and they
read.
had an
You can see it.
illustration in that brochure, didn't they?
What's the size of the sign we have out there now? Do you know?
The approximate sign size is right around 24 inches, about the size that we got, that we're looking at right now. The custom sign is going to be 12. It's going to be half the size it is there.
It's going to be
The
this
sign
big.
that's out there now is 24. It's going to be about, yeah,
A little bigger than this. a little
Right.
taller than this, That's all.
all right.
Kind
See,
of small.
that's why I didn't want to make a recommendation, obviously, because we don't know how big a sign do we want to have out there.
What's the size of the one out there now, 24?
24 by 36, I believe, is a
Well, you
quote.
sure can see that thing.
Right,
Yeah,
and you
but a
can't miss it,
12
it flashes very well.
12?
What's a normal speed limit?
What's the size of our trailer one?
No, I knew you'd ask that question, I didn't get the information. I want to say it's right around 24 by 36, about the size that,
Bigger than the one we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 inches seems rather.
Yeah.
the nice thing about having the 3M signs is obviously with 3M being so close to Hudson here, if we have any problems mechanical-wise, they would be willing to come out and fix them relatively
Can I ask,
quickly.
on the example here from Custom Signals, do you know if this picture is a 12-inch sign or if this picture is something bigger?
That should be a 12-inch sign, I believe.
So the size of the 25 is the same size as the 45, and is that 45 the same size as what we have on our current speed limit signs?
Yes.
I'm wondering if,
Standard size.
right, so I'm thinking that the 12-inch sounds small, but it's the same size as the speed
But-
limit sign.
I think what it is, though, is that the lettering is what's the 12 inches,
Right.
not the sign itself.
Right.
Right,
No, that's what we thought.
right.
But I was just pointing out that it's the same size as the speed limit sign.
As a normal speed limit
Yeah.
sign.
Right.
Now, Marty, we're talking about hardwired signs, not
Correct.
solar-powered.
The problem you're running with solar, and obviously you saw with this one out here, is if you get 3 or 4 cloudy days and those batteries don't get a chance to charge up, then they
Yeah.
die down.
Yeah.
I think a 12-inch probably is adequate. I mean.
Well, Lee's got a good point, yeah, it's same size as the, I mean, the 2.5 is the same size as the 4.5 above it.
And I mean, if you're going 60 miles an hour or 70 miles an hour, it's
Right.
different than if you're driving 40 or 30.
Or
or
25.
Yeah. Let's hope they're doing 25.
And the radar unit that comes with the custom, and I believe all of them are the same way, are directional radar units, so it's just traffic coming at the sign that'll register, it won't register traffic going away from it. And I believe we can set it up to our specifications, set it up at, start blinking at 25 to 30 miles an hour, and if it gets up above where somebody wants to see how fast they can go, we can shut it, it'll shut itself down. So people won't be able to use it as a radar gun to clock themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Hadn't thought of that.
Does this one have the memory?
Thank
So
you.
That's an option that we can get into it, but I'm not sure exactly what that would cost to do it. The one thing with the memory on the speed signs is that it would be one place only. It's not like the speed trailer where you can go and do statistics in different locations. It
Yeah.
would be just in this location.
Permanent, yeah.
Well, it's gonna be hardwired at that location anyway.
Correct. But if you could get like a solar panel one and maybe be able to move it from
Sure.
different locations.
I mean, one of the advantages to having it tracking, depending on the cost, could be you can go up, download it and say, do we have a serious problem here? We need to put a car out here and
I think we could save the money, though, if we can put the speed trailer out there that has the tracking system on it, just blanket so it doesn't show any speed at all, but it'll still collect the data underneath the sign, so people won't pay attention to the trailer, they just look at the speed sign.
You guys are pretty tricky.
Take note of that, right?
Yeah.
at the safety.
Sounds like we should go with the custom.
Yeah, can I ask one question? At the safety committee meeting, we talked about putting the trailer out there to track the speeds. Have you had any data collected?
We haven't had any chance to get the trailer out there. In fact, we've got the trailer down in our impound garage right now because we had to move some things around, and now our batteries are dead, so now we got to get charged back up again, so. With the weather conditions that we've had recently back and forth, we just haven't had a chance to get it out.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll move that we purchase 2 custom 12-inch displays at $31.45 each.
I will second that motion.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Let's go to security enforcement of ordinances in the parks.
Yes. One of the benefits of going through the shelter exercise is that we did have, I think, some good productive meetings as far as come up with some security or some police presence in our downtown, in our parks, Lakefront Park area. And this is for either discussion or a movement tonight to talk about the proposal that was developed by the Public Safety Committee subcommittee. And again, that plan is to convert, or not convert, but use the school liaison officer to patrol the downtown area in Lakefront Park during the summer months for increased police presence, use casual call officers as needed. And the police department will handle the following: education of the public and sweep enforcement of our park ordinances in the beginning of the boating season. additional sweeps during the first week of July and August, and as necessary, to coordinate with the county sheriff and DNR, patrol the waterway and outer islands, education of our staff, park staff in particular, and identifying potential issues and how to handle potential problems or individuals, and educate the public with newspaper articles and other means. Additionally, the proposal is to remove the gate under the arch and post the signs, no unauthorized vehicles beyond this point, and install clear signage at the beach at the end of Dyke Road and past the city docks that read either no overnight boat parking from 11 to 7, no overnight camping, no bonfires, no alcohol, and sign number 2 would say no alcohol beyond this point, which would be posted just past the city docks. So I'll throw that out there for discussion. Or
Is there one? I thought there was 5 points on the sign.
well, the shelter would close, which we don't need to worry
Oh,
about
yeah.
at this point.
Thanks. I knew there was something missing.
What do we have to do to put that in, do we need any extra,
I assume.
just enforcement of the existing ordinances?
We're just enforcing the existing ordinances, and, placement of signs that are more readable in the areas. And probably the biggest point of discussion might be the gate under the arch, to open that up. Post some signs there say don't go past this point, no unauthorized vehicles. Probably put a couple stops on the other side of that. I think that what that does is it opens up the park, or it gives a feeling of that. It allows more people an easier access to walk through, bike through, easier obviously for the emergency vehicles and garbage trucks and what have you to go through there. I think it's worth a shot. I know. I just think it'd be a lot better for.
Let's see how it goes. Okay? Need a motion to,
I was gonna say, there was one other thing we talked about, is that when the park employees are out working, to have them to have T-shirts that say park employees, so that it looks like there's, as well as the liaison officer, that these people are identified as people who are in the park and work in the park. So it makes
well, I think
it a little
most of them have shirts now.
Yeah, I think Deb.
Or do you want orange ones?
Yeah, making
They
sure
do, but they don't wear them. So
Well, that's easy corrected.
that's what we need to.
that- I just- I wanted-
You don't wear them, you don't get your check,
Right.
They'll wear
It's no
'em.
different than a safety vest. It's what you require them to wear, and they wear it.
So that would, again, put more presence out there so people recognize that there are city staff as well as liaison officer.
Good idea. Need a motion to put these into full force.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any other comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Let's go to Park Board. Consider creating a concessions agreement for the beach house in Lakefront Park and advertising for possible vendors. I understand you have a couple of probables now, right?
We do, actually. And what we'd like to do tonight is to direct Catherine, if the council agrees, to create a concessions agreement that we could use in the beach house and or maybe on the Dyke Road. I don't know if you need to do, I don't know how you would do that, to have like a,
Well, I've got a sample from another community.
you had
but
one,
I
didn't
need
you?
more information, I think, from the park board or the council direction in terms of if you're thinking of a percentage of the income. I mean, I can leave that blank, and then we either, I know Don Gilbert was going to contact this park and rec director in the city of Stoughton to see how they're doing it in terms of how they set up their concession agreement. I mean, I can give you a framework, but then some of the details on how you want it to work in Hudson, you'll need to give me direction on.
Well, if Don's going to do that, why don't we kind of authorize Paul and Don and
Sure.
yourself to
Yeah.
get together so that we
Yeah,
can
we
come
can
up
come up
with
with
something that's
something.
concrete.
well, okay, but I guess, probably the main question is this something we gotta put out for bid, or is it something
You don't
that?
no, you don't have to. I mean, if you want to seek proposals, you can, but what you're doing is you're basically allowing someone to, you're entering into almost like a lease agreement with city property, and it's city park. So you can really do it by negotiation however you want. It's not something that needs to be put out for bid. But I guess the city of Stoughton had considered putting theirs out for getting proposals, and they just decided it's tough to compare.
I think
You don't know what people are, they may not be offering, it's tough to come up with specifications, you don't really know exactly what you want.
Well, especially if they offer two different kinds of food.
Right, so, I mean, people can submit information, and then it's really up to the council and the city to decide what do they want in their park. But it's not something you do lowest responsible bidder or anything like
I
that.
think you have a couple of proposals now. I'd recommend that the park board figure out which one is the best food variety, best fits the needs of somebody who's going by, and bring back a recommendation, go ahead with it.
Could I suggest perhaps they not even come back to us over the recommendation, that maybe they just decide who to go with? Is that okay with you, Catherine, or do you think you need full council
Well,
action?
I think the council would have to approve any
Okay.
concession agreement and
Okay.
final proposal.
I just didn't want to get us getting into arguing about food, that's all.
Why not? We argue about everything else.
Well, it's an interesting question. Do we have to approve the fact that there is a concession agreement and we like the agreement, or do we actually have to approve the particular vendor who's selling?
Well, why don't we
That's-
approve first the particular vendor and then have a contract that covers that particular choice?
Well, I think what Scott was getting to, though, is leaving the future changeovers to the park board to decide, or does it have to come back to
Well,
council?
yeah, the park board recommends to the city, but if you in your own mind decide, look, I mean, you can informally, you still have final authority, but you can informally say, yeah, they've gone through it, they can make a recommendation, and you
Okay,
can
you still-
decide amongst yourselves not
It should
to.
still come back to council.
I think
Yeah.
the first time through, it should come here, and then after that, we can have it a little more flexible.
Okay.
Okay.
I just had a question on that, in regards to the park use for Lakefront Park, like in regards to booster days, where we use the concession area to cook food and prep food. Would that be a weekend or a time frame when they would not be able to use that concession stand, or how would that follow through? I mean, like. when
Park
we-
board's going to be working on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll talk to the park board about that?
Yeah, we talked about that at the last meeting, and that'd have to be part of the agreement, is that they'd have to work with, you know,
So when we reserve the park, you know, it says exclusive use of the park, and a lot of our subcontractors had it worded that you can't have the same items sold that they are selling. So we'd run into a little contingency if somebody's using,
That probably happens, what, twice a year?
yeah.
but I mean, if it isn't worded in the agreement.
Oh, it'll be there, but I mean, the occurrence would not be very, very often. Yeah, well, we have the music and art. and- Okay,
We also use it for the Boy Scouts use it for the Minnesota Orchestra also.
we need some sort of motion for the park board to pursue this particular approach.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion or comments? Let's get it going, because summer's upon us.
Well, I agree.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Consider a purchase of zero-turn lawnmower. The money's in the budget, and what was the final dollars on that, Paul?
$5,000, we just approved the purchase of a new mower. This is gonna be trading in our existing mower for another new mower, so we get a trade-in value, plus, it still comes under the capital bonding of $5,100, so we're still $100 in our budget for another new mower, which is a good deal.
You want to make a motion?
So moved to purchase it.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Let's go to unfinished business. Consider revisions to the city's banner policy, resolution number 7-07. We had the first reading, did we, Council?
Yes.
Has anybody received any calls regarding this? I had a couple, and I said, quite frankly, the council seems to be going in this particular direction. The banners will be used for government type celebrations only, and I think we're still in accord, aren't we? Somebody want to,
I'll move that we adopt resolution 7-07.
is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Want to voice once again how disappointed I am that it's come to this pass, that we have to do this, but we have to do it.
Okay. Roll call, isn't it? Well, let's do a roll call
Required,
vote.
but-
Morset?
Yes.
Wyland?
Yes.
O'Connell?
Yes.
O'Malley?
Yes.
Rademacher?
Yes.
Cook? Yes.
And we're finally getting to you, sir. but it was fast. Application of Hudson Booster Club for special event permit for annual Booster Days event in Lakefront Park. Before we move, is everything in order, Madam Clerk?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. Everything that's been covered has been through
The department's
Park
all
Board,
signed off.
all the departments. It's not something that we're considering to be a new event that's been going on for, what, 25 years? Easy that. So I'm looking for a motion for approval of that application.
Move to approve.
And Scott, you want to talk about the band noise?
Yes. There's a very inexpensive device that they all come equipped with. It's called a volume control knob. Turn it down. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Last meeting, it kind of went in a hurry, and we did not have time to consider the bid submitted for the Riverwalk Water and Sewer Service project, and we should take that up now.
Move to decline all bids.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Good try.
I have a proclamation here for Valley Reads Week. Whereas the city of Hudson recognizes that reading and literacy are essential in building strong families and members of the community, and whereas everyone has a role to play in promoting literacy and expressing and sharing ideas across different age groups and community lines, and whereas the Valley Reads program is dedicated to stopping the steady decline of literacy in our country by bringing awareness to the value of reading together, sharing ideas, and building better communities. And whereas the Valley Reads program is promoting the reading of one book together to create community and civic engagement on both sides of St. Croix Valley, I, therefore, Jack Burrow, Mayor of the Hudson, do hereby proclaim the weeks of Monday, April 16th to Sunday, April 29th as Valley Reads Week in the city of Hudson, and encourage all citizens to celebrate reading by supporting this worthwhile reading program and related events. I also have a plaque here that I would like to give to Kara Cook for her service to the council and the planning commission. And Kara, let's take a picture up here where we get the whole council in the picture. I usually hogging photographic when I get Mr. Morrison in there. Kara, in grateful recognition of your outstanding efforts as alderperson in the 6th District, City of Hudson Common Council, and your contributions as a member of the Planning Commission, Public Works Committee, Hudson and North Hudson Community Access Board, and liaison to the Tourism Bureau, April 2003 to April 2007. You probably thought it was more like 15 years ago, but here is a plaque. And also, you can take your name tag here.
We don't get the whole thing?
I can leave the holder.
I'll leave the holder. We're on a short budget. And Kara is working on her PhD, and we'll get that very soon, right? And as soon as she's got a few minutes available, we'll probably put her on some committees. Thank you for everything.
Doctor.
Good job.
Communications and items for future agendas without discussion. Any alderperson?
Can I just say, I just want to say thank you to the citizens of District 6 for their confidence the last 4 years. And hopefully I represented your concerns and opinions well. I want to thank all the city staff that I worked with the last 4 years. I think the citizens of Hudson should be grateful for the great staff and people that you have working for you every day. Thank the rest of the council, even though we haven't always agreed on everything.
What do you mean?
It's been a good discussion.
I had an old boss at 3M said, if you got two guys that are always saying yes, fire one of them.
Yep. Discussion is good. I want to thank my family for giving me up these days and evenings for this service, and wish my successor, Mr. Burchell, good luck. it's a great experience. So
And you're-
hopefully more people will run.
And your girls are going to miss coming down here for coloring sessions,
They are. You're
right?
gonna miss the suckers in your office.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, I just to piggyback off what we were talking about before for the park board, if there is anybody out there that would like to be a vendor at the beach house, contact Debbie Andrews at the City Hall to get your name on the next park board agenda meeting. I also want to say thank you to Kara. It's been a pleasure to
Thank you, you bet.
be here with you.
City Attorney, or did you, anyone
I
else?
actually do have something. Also, we did thank Kara at the Public Works Committee meeting for her time served there as well. And I'd like to take just a moment to bring you a word from your sponsor. If you at home like watching these sessions, if you find them informative, you need to take some action. There is a bill pending in the State Assembly right now that will possibly take away our funding for these televised meetings. And one of the authors of that bill is our own representative, Kitty Rhodes. And this is Kitty Rhodes' phone number. It is 800-862-1092. It's also being supported by Sheila Harsdorf, and her toll-free number is 888-529-0030. The bill that's currently pending before the Assembly would take away the local franchising rights of a community like ours to deal with cable systems, and there would be a statewide franchising authority that would be headquartered in Madison. We would no longer have the ability to twist the arms of cable franchisees and get equipment from them, which we do, get funding from them, which we do, for programs like this. So if you find this to be informative and a community service, please call those people. They are your representatives. If you're watching this telecast, they are your representatives, and they need to hear from you that we do not want this bill.
And also, we'll be working at some open forums with Sheila and Kitty, and representatives from our TV group and myself will be attending, so we'll put the pressure on them.
Maybe we should send them a proclamation.
Oh, we're sending them letters. Yeah, it's already in the works. Anyone else? City Attorney,
Nothing.
City Administrator.
Couple of things, we did the application deadline was last Friday for a couple of city positions, and we had over 140 applicants for our street maintenance position and over 80 applicants for the 2 wastewater treatment positions. So we've begun the process of going through them. We ask the patience of those who have applied. You know, don't start calling tomorrow and ask if we've decided anything yet, but we've started going through those, so that was
unbelievable response.
And I mentioned at finance, I am continuing to work on the health insurance issues. I met with Chuck Whiting from the county to go through their plan, what they do, and just to let you know, I am continuing to work on it, so.
We'll be involved shortly.
Hopefully, yes.
Okay. Anything else? Need a motion?
Move to adjourn.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Why don't you give me that?
We should